Hi everyone, this is Marla Miller from marlamiller.com here at TheWriter magazine, offering a column called Critique My Query, and that's exactly what we do. You send in your query letters and I offer a video critique that is intended to be a quick query critique. The difference between a quick query critique and a content critique is that I will read query letters and listen for speed bumps. Bumps that knock me out of the story. Now, if there aren't any bumps in the story, then chances are the query letter is in pretty good shape. That's not always the case, but it often is the case. So if you can get past the speed bump part of my reading your query letter, you're in the home stretch and almost ready to pitch would be my assessment. So if you want to send your query letters, please do. My email is at the bottom of this column, and we also invite you to hang out here and share comments. I love them, and I'm on the site enough that I promise you I will answer them within a day or two. Okay, I want to get to this letter. This author has been very patient. I believe that he sent it in, I'm going to say, in early September. We have lots of query letters, so please be patient with us. Okay, Dear Blank, I know you are a well-respected agent who represents the kind of manuscript I've written. Missy No More is a 7,800-word, hard-edged mystery detective novel that takes place on the streets of Chicago and its surrounding suburbs. Detective J.Mo O'Reilly is a seasoned officer who spends as much time in a bar as he does the homicide division. When he investigates a fellow officer suspected of murdering his missing wife, J.Mo's years of experience, his friendships on the force, and his personal life are all tested to the limit. The investigation begins to take a few quirky turns as officers from a suburban police department appear to be involved. J.Mo has to rely on the missing woman's younger sister to find the motive for the crime. Along the way, his partner, Detective Pete "Pud" Dugan, is gunned down, causing J.Mo to redouble his efforts in solving the murder just as his interest turns from the investigation toward the ex-wife of his chief suspect. Soon the investigation takes a startling turn, and J.Mo's personal life is in shambles, but he continues to search for the killer and the chance at happiness that has always eluded him. In the end, justice doesn't always end in a court conviction. The idea for Missy No More comes from the real-life drama unfolding in the Chicago area courtroom. Bolingbroke Sergeant Drew Peterson is accused of murdering his third wife with his fourth wife still missing and presumed dead. Police officers like everything to be black and white, and most crimes, especially those of passion, are relatively easy to solve. But what if the facts aren't what they appear to be? This is the approach I took with Missy No More. I am an ex-Chicago cop who left after achieving the rank of detective. Because of my experience, Missy No More has the undeniable ring of authenticity of how cops think and act within the Brotherhood, providing a clear and unflinching glimpse inside the world of one Chicago police detective. Currently, I am instructing both graduate and undergraduate level courses at a university in Chicago. I'm currently the treasurer of the Midwest chapter of the Mystery Writers of America. Thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to hearing from you sincerely. And then he gives contact information. Okay. What do I think of this? Well, in my real-time workshops, I do not read these query letters. They come up to the front of the room, and I hear them for the first time along with my audience, my writers in the workshop. But when I do them online, I always read them a couple of times before I present, and as I did with this one. Okay, so what do I think of this? Well, I think, and I'm keeping my eye on the time because I definitely don't like these to go over, because I don't want to bore you. Not that I could, but it's possible. Okay, Missy No More confuses me. I think that if this is going to be a whodunit that falls in line of the Drew Peterson case that has been in all the tabloid news for a couple of years now, I believe, then I would encourage this author to take a look at how he opens this query letter, and I would open it with an iteration of the fourth paragraph, because I think that that's a very nice hook. If in fact this is going to be a story that isn't what it appears to be, so I would consider opening it with the Drew Peterson hook on top. If it is not about that, if in fact this is a story that departs from that, Because remember, in the Peterson case, they think he's killed like a whole bunch of women, and I don't see any evidence of that here. So if it's not that, then I would not include Drew Peterson's name, because what is that? That's a red herring. That is an enticement that agents are very familiar with. So if it's not going to be something that is similar in style, then I would not include Drew Peterson, because you're going to disappoint me. And if you disappoint me, I'm going to get upset. And if I'm an agent and I'm upset, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to pass on this letter. So be very careful about that. And that goes for all of you. Do not put red herrings that are sexy or tabloidish or sensational just to get someone's attention. Make sure that you're following through. Okay. So if that was the case, I would open it with that fourth paragraph as opposed to the first one. Because the first one really doesn't tell me anything. It just says it's going to be a detective story, and the detective spends more time drinking than he does on the, working or whatever. And that's pretty stereotypic. It's almost a cliche that detectives are all drunks. So that doesn't grab me because that's been done. So I would lead with what is the biggest hook, and if it's the Drew Peterson hook, then I would lead with that. However, at this point, I really don't know what this story is about. And in real-time workshops, when I don't know, I always throw that out to my writers. What's this story about? Because it could be that it's just my ears and I don't hear it, but I don't. This is a story about a missing woman. It's a story about her sister, who I think maybe this detective falls for. It's a story about a detective who drinks too much and probably has a lousy marriage. But beyond that, I don't really know what this story is about. And so I think that this writer, in the 4 paragraphs that he presents, the synopsis or the summary of this story, I think that he can do a better job. He's got some work to do. And I would invite him to resubmit this when he reworks it. In terms of, just one last thing, in terms of his credentials, I like him very much. The fact that he's a former cop is great, because they do, former cops, as we well know, Joe Wamba, write pretty good whodunit stories. So that's great, and the fact that he is involved in the Mystery Writers of America, that's also great. So those are both 2 really good credits that would augment and support the telling of this story. I just don't know what it's about yet. So I hope that this is helpful. I know that hearing news that isn't stellar isn't always easy to hear, but writing is rewriting. And until the next time, keep writing.